Hey, biology 2P96 students, staff, Wendy and Christine. Ian Gordon here, Brock Science Librarian, to present some tips on how to be successful for this course, but to learn some things about getting scholarly peer-reviewed research and resources you may not have thought of. You may have joined in previous library quiz assignments. There's 10 questions to do, but this particular course has access to dissertations and Google Books and things you may not consider for this course and for other courses as well. The slides here are archived. The video is archived. You're watching it as well. And I'm available if you need some help as well. So let's jump right in. Here is the guidelines for this particular course assignment. They appear in Sakai, so check them out because following these are really important to moving forward. Part of the assignment, anywhere through doing a lab or this particular formal report, take some time to search the topic, the literature, use the library databases, and certainly use Omni as a good starting point to find research, videos, books, ebooks, chapters, and other materials as well. Here's the background information that you may need to know, but it says peer-reviewed scientific journals are necessary. Now, you're not going to find a scholarly peer-reviewed journal article that's exactly on topic that meets your need to comment in your lab or to provide context, but there's a number of resources that can. So you're looking for data, techniques, methodologies, results that you can not only put into your assignment, including the formal assignment, but also to cite as properly as well. You do not want to be caught plagiarizing, meaning cutting and pasting, or cutting word for word, or taking credit for materials that aren't your own. Probably the worst thing you can do at Brock is to plagiarize. So make sure you, if in doubt, cite. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here's the rest of the lab that you may want to do. There's a number of things, and there's literature assignment, but it says, please note that a minimal of 3, count them 1, 2, 3, peer-reviewed scientific articles will be required for inclusion in your formal lab report for this assignment. So they want 3, they could use more, you could use less. 3 is a guideline so that you can search the literature and insert the in-text citation for it. Cite it properly, but use it appropriately to take the idea, the data, the quote, or the methodology that was used as it relates to the lab assignment that you're doing as well. Here's our homepage. During COVID and this pandemic, we have a number of resources, digital resources, services that are still available. So accessing it from home or from your bedroom like I am or elsewhere is certainly doable. I'm going to show you some of the resources that you could use as well. When you go to the research guides, they're listed here in faculty and by department, and you want the biological sciences guide. The biological sciences guide has my picture on it, as you can see, my email address, a book of consultation, and a number of tabs. How to find articles, we'll look at that. Books and ebooks. Interlibrary loan, a service that you could use to get materials we do not own within 3 to 5 days, free. Patents, streaming videos, definitions, or handbooks, or encyclopedias or dictionaries. Writing and citing, we'll talk more about that in a minute. How to get help, good places to find and email and sources that you could use. And if you look here, it says Biology 2P96. So here's a guide I put together specifically for this course and for this assignment as well. Yeah, here it is. It's a listing of resources sorted in formats. At the top, it says resources of importance to the study of. So these are current books and ebooks in our library on lichens, mycology, fungi, mushrooms, and yeast. These are searches that you could do, but they're listed in reverse chronological order, so you can browse. Browsing serendipity is still a research methodology instead of looking for exactly what you're looking for as well. We'll cover that. If you look here, the video you're looking at is here. So I've loaded it in YouTube. And the seminar PowerPoint slides, the ones that I'm using now, are there in case you want to go back and review, look, and see what needs to be done as well. At the end of this video, I'm going to go through the 10 questions on the quiz, just to go over them, give you a sense of what's there, what's not there, and how to tackle them as well. If you go further down the page, not only are there textbooks that can be useful, like physiology, nomenclature, biology, biological applications, classification handbooks, and academic materials. These are open, as well as resources we have as well that may be interesting. From the title, click on the clickable link and find more about each particular resource. Laboratory protocols and fungi, more resources that you collect, and classic handbooks that you use in this area of research. Reference materials, meaning encyclopedias and dictionaries. They're actually great for defining terms or a quote. And interesting stuff that I found on. Really neat exercise, really neat lab advisor, really neat faculty member. It's a really neat course, and here's some resources that you may find as well. Interesting, as I did. So there's the Biology 2P96 guide. So what's in the guide? On our tab for biological sciences, there's a listing of articles here. And they're listed here. There's scholarly articles and news articles, and you're looking for scholarly peer-reviewed articles, assuming you know what scholarly peer-reviewed means. I assume that you do. There's Figshare and there's Omni, which is a great tool that you probably have used, how to get abbreviations. And they're listed here in no important order other than Omni's first. Google Scholar, many people use it within our IP domain on campus, or if you're off campus like I am, move through this link. It'll ask you to authenticate your letters, numbers, who you are. Then you not only link to the resources that may be available, but you also link to the full text resources that may or may not be there as well. Google Scholar, Web of Science. If you go further down the page, Omni's there, Scholar's Poorly Journals, which is full text journals. So you're searching every word in every journal that's in this database, as opposed to a citation, keywords, and abstracts. Environment Index, Biosis, CAB Abstract, Zoological Record, Medline for Medicine, Embase, SciFinder for Chemistry, and there's a listing of all the biological sciences databases, the news databases, occupational health and safety databases, and the patent databases as well. So there's more than one database. Wouldn't it be nice if there's one database that did everything? Well, we're moving towards that, but since different researchers in different programs of study, from biology to chemistry to applied areas of scientific research, think differently. And so these databases cover unique areas of the literature as well as use different ways of searching. But really, they're all English driven. They're all keyword driven. And so searching one database may work for you, searching two databases. But most importantly, if you have an idea or a keyword or subject to look for, or even an author or researcher's name, search more than one database just to confirm that you're finding the resources that you need to complete this assignment. If you move forward, Omni is a database you can use, and it's right here on our front page. Click on Advanced Search, and when you click on Advanced Search, it asks you to put in words, and it gives you filters as well. Peer-reviewed scholarly journals, which is on the left-hand side, asks for just articles. So I'm looking at Enfield, and when you type in synonyms, like it says cloves or Eugene oil, you have to type in "or" as a synonym, like teenager or adolescent or high school student, different words for the same concept, using capitals OR. So type in OR as it shows there. So I looked at everything on cloves or Eugene oil as articles. And I said, well, I'm looking for an article of that set that has the word antifungal in the title. Then I looked for any other words, since I still got too many, of any one or combination of these particular terms. It lists you the citations, and then if you're signed in as you use this database, you can also find the full text content. So browsing and picking one or two articles for maybe 10 or 20 or 30 may be time well invested. Remember, searching for articles, you're searching for keywords. Though the English language isn't perfect, you get what you search for. And so make sure you use the filters that are on the left-hand side. You set the filter parameters under resource type, language, and you search for words and synonyms or words separated by a capital OR, and you and concepts together, remembering that your spelling does count. Furthermore, when you find an article, you can upload it, look at it, review it. You may look at it and go, well, that's not what I want, but look at it, download it, and cite it as well. Here's a citation I got. The citation style is outlined by this particular assignment. There's different styles that people can use. Here's a different style that I used, but it gives you the information that you need to know. Be consistent with the style format you choose for doing your article and the way you do it as well. So Omni was there. Google Scholar. A lot of people use Google Scholar. So I jumped in and I searched Google Scholar, and you can use parentheses to look for phrases. You can use the shift 8 asterisk after antifungal to find pluralizations or truncations of words with a similar root. But it's a pretty blunt instrument. Click off I don't want patents and sort by date from newest to oldest, and it'll give you a list of citations. They may or may not work. Sometimes we don't know how Google Scholar works, so it finds things that can't found any other way based on its own algorithm. Since you've moved through the Brock Library Guide and this particular access point to Google Scholar, it also includes links to full-text citations. It may take you to tables of contents, may take you to the article itself, you may have to click on the PDF, and there may not work, or there may not be any link there. Chances are we have usually 8 or 9 or 10 of every article you look for. So if you can't find it, go back to Omni, pump in the title of the article, and that may find it for whatever reason when you can't find it in Google Scholar. There's always an article at the end of your search, and you can cite it as well using the style that you would want. There's APA. Here's a search that you may not have used. You can search Google, searching for PDFs, which are reports, conference reports. Most articles and things from governments as well are usually in PDF format. So if you use this format, all entitled, your keywords or your phrase, and then file type, PDF, you bring up things that you may not have gotten any other way. So that's a way of finding articles outside. And when you're searching mycology and oenology, viticulture, those sorts of areas, there's a huge body of literature that isn't caught by scholarly articles that may be just as or even more practical. So doing this type of search is always a neat way of finding other resources as well. A new database we have is Microsoft Academic, which is kind of a comparator to Google Scholar. It's amazing in how it searches. It's a free search engine. Again, it links to our holdings, so you have to still find articles that you find by this in our Omni database, or use Google Scholar to do that. But here, they search by clusters. I won't go into how that works. So it's a different algorithm than Google Scholar, and sometimes by typing in words or types of verbs or terms, you find different results. So it's increasingly becoming an important database to find research as well. More databases that are scholarly databases. SciFinder is here. You may never think to search the chemical literature, but it's probably the biggest database besides Omni in our library. It encompasses all biology, biochemistry, pharmacology, and other terms as well. So when you click on SciFinder, I went into the notes and I found you have to look for these types of compounds. And in SciFinder, they use standardized terminology or namings of certain things, and they put numbers at the end of it so that they give social insurance numbers for individual chemical compounds. And there's other sorts of concepts that you may want to put in as a sample search. So you write these down before you hit SciFinder, which requires a username and password, which is free for you to get. So I searched for this compound in SciFinder, and so it asks you, what are you looking for? And I found it here. And so there's a structure, a chemical formula, key properties, but then you can click on Get References. And what it does is it takes that particular compound, if that's what I'm looking for, and it asks you how to filter that. A number of ways to filter, by document type, by language, all sorts of things. But I want to find all references related to this research. So I've gotten 22,000 articles, many of which aren't available in other databases. But then I said, let's limit by document type, meaning journal. So like Omni, there's ways to filter the results. Let's look at references that are in English. That's all I'm really interested in. And let's search by research topic, meaning let's search these particular concepts by another term, antifungal, and find out what we get. I found 51 references, the articles, dissertations, chapters, books, patents, and other sorts of tools. And so you can browse them like you do in Omni. It pulls up unique things you may not find elsewhere, or identical things that you found in other databases as well. You pull up an individual record, and it's kind of neat. It gives you the title of the author, the abstract. It gives you the concepts or indexing, meaning standardized words that describe this article. It gives you actually the substances and reactions, but on the right-hand side, it gives you where this source is from. So no different than any other database. You click on Get this particular item, and it brings up the full text of this particular article, which again, you read, you assess, and decide whether you want it or not. Pull a quote, pull a statistic, keep it alongside, and then remember, if in doubt, always cite, and put this in your references list as well. Lots more databases to search for. One you never searched before, it's called CAB Abstracts. It's kind of like a third world, least developed world, international, European, Asian and focus, which includes North American literature as well, of things that aren't caught usually everywhere else. And so it's a huge body of knowledge, but it actually works quite well. But since you've refined and know what keywords you're looking for, you can put in CIOL or phrases and antifungal and root. So I took all those words and limited my search down and found a number of articles that may be of relevance. 79, and I browsed through them, marked the ones that I want, limited by journal article, and pulled them up. And so here's a citation like Web of Science, kind of like Google Scholar, or like a SciFinder. It gives you a summary of the article by title, institutional address, the authors, the abstract, and subjects that help describe it. This is quite a powerful database you've never searched before, so try it and see what happens. Again, it always links back to a particular scholarly peer-reviewed article that I assume that you know how that works and why that's important. And again, if in doubt, cite, always cite. Here's another format that other people use as well. Getting back, there's a number of articles. Medline is here, and Applied Health Sciences for people that take courses in that area. It's quite used, and there's different ways to get to Medline by Ovid. SciFinder indexes Medline, or you can use PubMed, which is a free interface, kind of like Microsoft's and Google's databases. You can search PubMed, but the neat thing about this, where it's free, is you can click on the advanced search screen. And I'm going to put in my compound I'm looking for, since you have a number of compounds to look for. It looks them up in PubChem, and it finds them, and it finds a number of resources, and I found like a home page for this particular compound, which is just simply amazing. Not only does it give you the compound, the chemical information, the structure, the synonyms, physical properties, but it also gives me, as you narrow down, all the information about the literature, the applications, the toxicity. Truly amazing and truly free. I looked at a number of compounds, and what I did was I found out the PubChem has like SciFinder numbers that describe these chemical compounds. So you can go back into the literature, as I've done in PubMed, which is a free database. And I put in all fields the phrase, the term that describes it, a common name, and that number that they use as well. Put everything with antifungal. And just like in database, I browsed to see which was appropriate. 53. It's telling me that in mycology, microbiology, applied fungi sciences, there's a significant body of literature that transcends just not biology, but other areas as well. But it's not huge. And the way you find out whether you found something or not is you evaluate it. You look at the title, whether it's peer-reviewed, see if it meets your use. But you keep seeing the same sorts of articles in different databases, or whatever you do, you seem to replicate the search. That's when you kind of know I've kind of found and I've limited myself to this set of articles, which is good to know as well. Medline gives you a reference, just like every other database, a citation, an abstract, and keywords, and other MESH, meaning medical subject terms that they use as well. And then, like every database, there's always an article at the end of this. So you can look at the article, download it, look at it, decide to use it or not, and then cite it as well. We're slowly moving through the databases. Let's search Web of Science, which is probably one of the core databases. Web of Science is core journals and all of science, and it actually works quite well. So it's the top tier. It's the most important, most influential, most used, most cited databases of journals and articles as well. The Web of Science core collection is the core journals, but you can also search Medline here, as it shows. You can search other sorts of tools and include other databases as well as an aggregated search tool. Here's my term I'm looking for. I want to put that in, so I went to Web of Science Core and I typed in phrases and terms separated by OR. It doesn't have to be capitals in this database. Other topics, then limited those even for limited by language and by format, type of article, and looked at the newest to the oldest databases articles. There's 21 I found. Browse through them. Usually the title tells you the relevant, how many times it's been cited, where it's been published, and there's a clickable link that you can search to search for the full text of this article, knowing you can now read the title, the abstract, and other terms. If you look at the same article in different databases, you know there's different terms they use to describe it, keywords, phrases they use, though there is a standard title and abstract for each particular article. It's interesting how different subject databases look at the literature a bit differently, and you get different results as well. What's neat about this particular database is that you found not only 16 cited references in this article, but 52 people or research articles have cited this paper since it was produced in 2005. it's kind of like citation chasing. I would want to look at those as well and see if they're relevant or not. And again, find the full text, read it, evaluate it, and cite it. Another type of style formatting. There's many ways to look at it. BIOSys Citation Index is probably one of the neatest databases. It's a true biological database. What it does is it takes the biological sciences database and places materials and journal articles that are relevant to current citations. Here it is. It has a Web of Science interface, and it says BIOSys Citation Index. And I typed in essential oil. I have to think like the database. It's biology. I want to put in things. I put in antifungal or fungal. I looked up words in titles because I wanted that word. That I thought it would be important as part of the title. And I put the word agar since that was a topic. I want that to be included somewhere in the article citation abstract or keywords. I got 84 records. I browsed through them, marked ones, put them into a marked list. Here's one that I found, and you click on the title again. What's interesting about this is not only in BIOSys Citation Index, it gives you the title of the author, the abstracts available, but it gives you the classification codes for chemistry, for the disease, for the document type, and the taxonomy, which is really neat because it's kind of like a biology-related database. So you can use this to find full-text articles as well. So lots of databases, lots of things to look at. Writing and citing. So what citation tools do you use? You can do it by hand. You crib from examples. You can use BibMe, EasyBib, other sorts of tools. And there's lots of guides here on the writing and citing pages for biological sciences that help you to be a better citer, and cheat sheets I use as well. Here is the writing and citing tab. And if you move farther down on this page, there's a number of tools that can help you to be a better writer, help with writing presentations, guides for writing reports that I've used that are helpful. They're kind of like cheat sheets to say these are important points to be a better writer, to be a better reporter. Again, this is a skill you need to develop. Further down, there's ebooks to how to write general books on how to be a better writer, write scientific papers, write with a style. Lots of them there that you could use, all in digital format. You may find one more better than another and lean on that as well. The Writing and Citing tab has a number of tools, as I see, but Zotero is there as well as an example of a citation management system. I hate to promote this, but this is what I use. So every time I find an article, I push the citation to my Zotero account, which is free and downloadable on my workstation or my laptop. And there's also a cloud account as well that backs it up as well. Zotero is a management system that I use. You could use it, and a reason why you may want to consult me in the future. And it works somewhat like this. So I build a file with Biology 2P96, and every time I found an article, I pushed it there, or you use the DOI or the digital object identifier, and what you do is you push it or you pull it into the database as well. But it automatically includes the title of the author and all the information that you need to do your citation list. It's also a record of how you tag records, meaning you could add notes, cut and paste sections of the article in there, or just add ideas that you want to include as well. You can tag records, and it's an important tool not only to do your references, your in-text citations, but it tracks how you thought and how you did this assignment so that you could tag, download, push-pull 50 articles. Maybe only use 3 of them as what's used, but you could maybe 4. But then it's a record that maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, you can go back and look at and search for articles that you thought were important and use them again. The neat thing about this is it asks you by the click of a button what citation style you want to use, and you can use different styles. Let's use APA here, and what you do is it just cut and paste the citation right in your paper. Really amazing. Okay. Citation management systems, you don't need to use it, but I just want to inform you of how Zotero works, what it looks like, and how useful it may be. If you're doing a lot of research, especially in applied health sciences or related sciences or even biological sciences, investing in downloading this, making it work, it will change your life. Let's just put it that way. Go back to the guide. What else is in the guide? If you want to email me, great. When you email me, put Biology 2P96 or your name in the subject line. Most people come to me when something's not working right, or I've talked about something, or you heard something in class, or your professor has said something, you go, I just don't get it. Sure, I'd be glad to help you with that. Or not that you can't find an article that relates to a particular assignment or this particular formal assignment, but when you're having trouble manipulating research. So emailing me is one way to say, hey, can you help me with this? I'll get back to you, usually within the day. or book a consultation. That's where we get to meet one-on-one, usually in the office, but now during COVID, we'll do this by Teams, Zoom, life-size, whatever works for me. If you click on book a consultation, what comes up is make an appointment schedule. So you pick the date and that works for you, and you need 24 hours notice. And what it does is you click on OK and the date and the time that works for you. And what happens is then I ask you on the form is what do you need to meet for? To give me some context of how to prepare, or maybe answer a question quickly, or to suggest, yeah, let's meet for doing that as well. Then it puts that invitation, that consultation in my calendar, and it emails you a copy just to confirm that you're available and you want to move forward with that as well. So we're here to help. Let's go back. Here's all the databases that you could use. Lots of things that you can use. Omni works well. Web of Science is pretty important. Google Scholar is an alternate format, but there's a number of databases, which are a number of things. Finding 3 peer-reviewed articles certainly won't be difficult. Finding ones that are relevant are appropriate as well, and ones that help you gain these skills, also to be a better writer, be a better researcher, and also to be how to nail that library quiz as well. So here's some key things. The Library Biological Sciences Research Guide, the Articles tab we showed you, a number of databases that you could use. You choose which ones work best for you. Search for articles using the and the or logic. Remember how important that was. Your keywords, your truncations, and phrasing works well as well. Interlibrary loans, sign up, register for it if you haven't done that as well, or we can help you with that to get materials, usually articles that aren't available at Brock because we don't have everything, usually within 3 to 5 days. Writing and citing tab, helping with writing, presentations, and lab reports. Remember all those resources I showed you? Zotero. Awesome. Just simply awesome. Book a conversation. And again, I said it before, we can help. Here's the questions we want to go through. I'll just give comments on the 10 questions on the quiz. This one asks you to go to the Biological Research Guide and the Articles tab. Use Web of Science, and you want to search for this particular paper. And you can search for by author, by name, DOI, Digital Object Identifier. You can put that in. If you find this paper, we want to know how many times this has been cited in this database at this particular time. For all these answers, all these questions, the answers are randomized. So the answer for you could be A, but for somebody else, that same answer could be B. So though we encourage people to kind of figure this out together, you individually have to do each particular quiz. And I'd suggest you sit down and do it at once, and you get 3 cracks at it as well. How lucky is that? Second question. It asks you to go to Professor McFadden-Smith's ResearchGate page. Different faculty members, different research teams record and update and try to attract students to what they're doing on different places. They use ResearchGate, and it asks you to look at this particular paper and read it and find out where this happens. Question 3. Here's a conference report. Biological science is big on conferences, even virtual conferences, big on presenting ideas and papers as opposed to formal scholarly review research publications, which eventually come down the line. Here's a conference presentation by your professor. Reading the full text of this article would be important because it's kind of like attractive to read the title, the abstract, and some ideas and the keywords, but gosh, give me the full paper. Sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not. Your task, probably the hardest question of the 10, is to find the full text of this particular presentation that's augmented there. Use the databases, use the journal articles. Don't spend a lifetime. You'll find it or you won't find it. This is true or false that you found it. Dissertations and theses, someone's master's thesis, Master of Science, or dissertations, which are PhDs, are a huge body of great literature. They come from around the world, and there's no standard one place, so all Brock's theses end up in our Brock depository. But finding theses, and especially if you're writing one or you research, gives only not only methodologies, but gives analysis and does the lit review for you as well. This is not a trick question, but we want you to find out which statement is not correct. So one's correct, 3 aren't correct. Move through, look at the policies, think through how this makes sense, and answer the question appropriately. Question 5 deals with patents, or patents as if you're British or English. But patents, I got mixed up here, are an important area of research, especially in biotech, biology, because ideas that are patentable have a commercial application, or they're novel and new. And there's several databases, and ESPASnet, that's how you pronounce it, is a full-text open repository of terms. Look for this patent, use the number, use the title, and look at how many classification codes, because not only do books have subjects, articles have keywords, patents have a classification code that says specifically what this is about, to find similar or like patents that may be applicable as well, to browse and maybe to find as well. Very important for commercial applications as well. So go to ESPASnet and play around. Looking for Oxford reference tools. We have online encyclopedias and dictionaries, and you can use this at any time for your assignment. Under the definitions tab, Oxford reference is one database we use, but it includes all Oxford reference handbook entries, encyclopedias, and dictionaries. So it's a multi-aggregated tool. And then you can search for by keyword or by phrase and limit. We want you to find the entry for SMART has done on this particular rot. And we want you to know how many citations are at the bottom of that article. So count them up and answer appropriately. Finding datas and drawings. Here's a book in our library, so go back to Omni. When you search Omni, you put in the title or keywords or author, and you can filter down. This is a really neat book. Look up this digital book. Look at this particular table and answer the question appropriately. It was an interesting answer. I wouldn't have thought, so you find the correct answer. There's only one correct answer. We're getting there. Question number 8. Use your biological research guides to look at ebooks, look at full books, but sometimes there's print books, especially in biological applications, and field notes and laboratory manuals that are not in Omni, or we just don't own. We don't own everything. So sometimes when I find things in print and I need it in digital format, or I find out that I'm looking for something that we do not own, short of asking it for interlibrary loans, what I do is I go to Google Books and see how much content is there. They'll give away a part of it, sometimes almost all of it, or just portions of it. So we want you to go to each of these 2 volumes, which are in print format in our library. We couldn't buy them in electronic format, or we would have, and see if you can access page 411, true or false. The content's there, or it's not. Question 9. Here's an article tab. We want to find scholarly articles. So here's a citation for an article your professor has written. Interesting. Digital object identifiers are codes, you can learn more about it, that almost all new articles, books, ebooks, even chapters and references and images have mostly scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles. They're unique numbers that identify that particular tool. And they're useful because they're identification tags for finding things, then finding them again, because you can search for these or pull them into Zotero, or you can push them into Zotero. We want you to find the DOI for this particular article. Last question. Question 10 asks you, watch this video. It's in a number of streaming video content databases that we own. Canopy is one of them, but there's other ones. We have about 6 or 7 of them. And increasingly, I know I like it, videos are really neat. The Netflix related things. And here's a video that I found just not only interesting, they're just beautifully done. And David Suzuki has put this together on the nature of things. You can find this in different formats, but move through either the CBC link there, or it's in the database Curio. So something we subscribe to, so we have permanently, it's available to you as well. And you have to watch it, and you have to find out where this particular researcher is mentioned. It's not trick, but it goes by quickly, so pay attention and watch the whole video, and hope that you'll enjoy it and learn something about this fascinating world of mycology, mushrooms, microbiology, and applied biological sciences as well. So there's your 10 questions as well. So I hope this helped. Check out the guides, the resources. Email me or book a consultation if you need that help. If not, good luck with this particular assignment, the quiz, and the course as well. Bye for now.